Hello and welcome to day 5. I'm Tammy, your host and mentor guide for this 31 days of essential oil journey. I'm really very happy to be sharing this with you. I was about to say I'm going to talk about Star Anise, and I really like this oil, and I realized that I'm always saying that because I just totally dig oils. I've been working with them for basically over 30 years. If you're new to me, I have a background in pharmacology. I am internationally certified as an aromatherapist. Also have a background in the study of plant constituents with regards to drug development as they relate to human health. And so that's really where all this is coming from. And so when you hear information in these videos, which is also followed up with a blog on Synergessence.com, there's a little bit different information because the stream of thought is different when I talk compared to when I write. But the whole idea here is to provide you with my perspective of the oils as far as how I've used them, how I've modified use, as well as the points that I think are important to convey because we don't have, I think it's just, they're relevant. I mean, they're absolutely necessary truthfully, they're necessary for our ability to thrive. Currently, we're surviving. We're doing a damn good job at surviving. But if we want to improve upon that and actually experience life through wellness, then it's an important piece to add essential oils to our daily lives, whether you're taking medications or not, whether you have symptoms or not. Because the whole idea is to restore stability to the body. This is the reason why we have dis-ease, disorder, discomfort. This is all lack of ease, lack of order, lack of comfort. And when we lack these things, it's just a signal that the body is unstable. It's not defective, it's working. But the idea of including the oils is because they are signaling molecules, just like hormones, just like all the other chemicals in our environment. They have the ability, not all the chemicals, but a number of chemicals. They're lipophilic chemicals, is another way to say it, which means they are received very well by cell receptors, and they can modify genetic expression quite easily, just like a medication can, just like environmental chemicals can. Just so you know, there's 45 million chemicals currently being used around the world. Over 70,000 of them have been confirmed as endocrine disruptors. So with that in mind, and that's just man-made. And then we have the environmental estrogens, because the ones that are endocrine disruptors are known as also xenoestrogens. I refer to them as environmental estrogens, but environmental estrogens also includes that which are naturally occurring. And star anise actually happens to be one of those. So that said, if you have estrogen-related health condition, whether it be endometriosis or a cancer, like a breast cancer, estrogen-related cancer, then you do not want to be using star anise. On the other hand, if you don't have any of those issues, and you're haven't reached menopause yet, you want to use star anise with caution because it does act like estrogen in the body. And estrogen is besides being a reproductive hormone, it is a primary signaling molecule that influences nitric oxide synthase activity as well as immune activity. And if you have too much of it going on and the body's not able to metabolize it properly, this is how we end up with breast cancer or prostate cancer and glaucoma, lung cancer. This is all because we're not breaking down and metabolizing estrogen effectively and eliminating that which is toxic. So to be adding to this in the environment that we have, and chances are, I mean, you're already living with higher levels of these environmental estrogens in your system. So truthfully, unless you are of an advanced age in menopause or have reached menopause or older, I don't really recommend using star anise, but maybe once in a blue moon. And I think a blue moon happens once a year, twice a year. Just saying. But again, I love it. I absolutely love it. It smells like licorice if you're not familiar with it. Here's a good reason. Here's a good blue moon reason for you. If you've been exposed to the flu, let's just say somebody you've been around maybe got the flu shot and they came down with the symptoms, but you don't have symptoms yet, have star anise on hand. It will actually protect you from the flu. Because remember what I said, estrogen is a primary signaling molecule that activates the immune system. And in fact, the star anise is one of the primary, it's the reason why we have Tamiflu. Let me just put it that way. That's the reason why we have Tamiflu. So it's great to have on hand for the flu season. And then you don't have to get the flu shot. It's also very good for cardiovascular and respiratory issues, as well as digestive issues. And again, in a blue moon, if you have, let me think of medications here. I mean, besides diabetic medication, and it's also an anticoagulant, so you don't want to mix it with blood thinners. But again, if you have, so like, let's just say, for instance, you have hardening of the arteries, and maybe they have you on blood thinners, you know, maybe you've had a stroke, or you're prone, you know, maybe if you're taking aspirin, you don't want to mix it with star anise. Because like I said, it's very good for the for supporting cardiovascular, respiratory, and digestive health. But again, because we live in the world that we do, we just don't need to be using it all that often, because we just don't need to be continually introducing estrogen into the system. We have to be willing to give it a break. And then again, when we start blending it, it's possible to blend it with something else. So I always issue these warnings, and then I'll let you know that, but you can also counter it. That's the beauty of when we learn how to blend. Now you can begin to have an oil, like we already know how the mechanism is going, how, let's just say in this case, star anise is going to work. You can add it with, you know, other things that will counter that, kind of, yeah, just kind of offset it, right? Maybe facilitate the body's ability to break down estrogen. That would be a wise thing to do, right? So supporting the liver would be another way to do it. So these are some ideas in order to introduce and have star anise, being able to use star anise a little bit more frequently than just once in a blue moon. But if that's the case, you know, if blending is something you're working into, then just use caution. But it's superb. It's actually very, very good for digestion. In the sense that it really helps to relieve a lot of digestive discomfort. But I do want to remind us all that digestion happens down to the cell level. Okay, so when we're looking at digestion, it's really being able to help the body help these various cycles. Like I mentioned with Roman chamomile, it benefits glycolysis. Okay, in this case, with star anise, it benefits nitric oxide synthase. It just benefits that entire cycle. But again, moderation. Moderation is key. And that's a big learning lesson, I think, for our current culture. Because we have this tendency to, like, well, if some's good, more is better. Not when it comes to essential oils. The less you use them, the more effective they become. You don't need to use a lot at one time. It takes no more than 20 minutes for them to be metabolized throughout the body. They have, like I said, they have specific influences on various genetic functions or processes. And in this case, the star anise does that with the nitric oxide, which is very, very important when it comes to blood vein health, or blood vein, the health of the blood, the veins, the arteries, lung tissue, digestive tissues, and so forth. So, yeah, I think I'm going to end it there with this one. There is a blog post on star anise that you can read more on. And hope you guys are having a good day. And thank you for being on this journey with me. Until day 6, I will see you soon.